Hello, and let's get into it. Genesis 1:7, and I'm starting to kind of regret doing the whole first entire grade. A little bit, maybe not. So, a new international version. So God made the vault and separated the water from under the vault from the water above it, and it was so. New Living Translation. And that is what happened. Okay. God made this space to separate the waters of the earth from the waters of the heavens. It sounds like someone's talking. English Standard, and God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse, and it was so. Brilliant study Bible. So God made the expanse and separated the waters beneath from the waters above, and it was so. King James Bible. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. The King James is the exact same thing, besides for the word said and thus. Yes, the new King James Version has thus. So you were supposed to take out all the expanse of, well, whatever. God in ASB 1995, God made the expanse and separated the waters which were below the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse, and amplified with its little brackets. And God made the expanse and separated the waters which were under the expanse. Oh wait, the expanse, the sky, that were under the expanse, that were above the expanse. And it was so, just as he commanded. Thank you, Amplify, for the helpful things. Yeah, again, all the same thing. Contemporary English version. And that's what happened. God made the dome. Just cut off most of the sky, lower sky, like Aramaic. And God made the firmament, and it separated the waters lower than the sky, and between the waters that were higher than the sky, and it was this way. Contemporary English version. And that's what happened. God made the dome. There. End of story. Beautiful. The net. So God made the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above it. It was so. Thought it was water. Every ancient culture saw it was water. God didn't, and they wanted to give them, an astronomy lesson. Because how do you describe the concept of space to someone living in ancient times? Before, like, oh, it's just this void Earth floats in. Wait, Earth floats? Earth, what do you mean floats in? Is it Earth flat? Oh, no, Earth is a sphere. Oh, Earth is a sphere. So Earth just floats. Well, it goes around the sun. Wait, it goes around the sun. Isn't the sun smaller than? Oh, no, see, no, the sun's bigger. Oh, the sun's bigger and we go around it. Slowly? No, pretty fastly, actually. Oh, how fast? And this, how many miles per hour? What's a mile? And what do you mean per hour? See? You have to, it's more and more complicated stuff. Oh, there's my hand. Hi. More and more complicated stuff. Literal standard version. And God makes the expanse, and it separates between the waters which are under the expanse, and and the waters which are above the expanse, and it was so. Also, if anyone tried to explain, I give full permission for someone to just ask them a whole bunch of questions. Pretend to be like someone from the Middle East in ancient times. And just ask them a whole bunch of questions. No matter how obvious it would seem. Because, literally, God would have to take weeks, if not months, and maybe even years in the Sinai desert explaining so much to Israel. I guess he could have just Earth floats in a void. Okay, moving on. I have more questions. No. Well, every other religion around us believes that they're wrong. And plus, Israel already rejected him anyway. What good would that have done? It may have just made them reject him faster. It's important in saving souls, not science lessons. Oh yeah, young little translation. It's always fun. And God maketh the expanse, and it spreadeth between the waters which are under the expanse, and the waters which are above the expanse, and it is so maketh and spreadeth. You thought those were made up words to make sound more Shakespearean. Oh. Let's see, Eliot. God made the fragment. This open expanse above the earth, upon the earth's surface, supplied the chemistry of nature. That is, of God. Is he trying to say nature is God? No, God created nature. With all that marvelous mixture of gases which forms atmospheric air, was a primary necessity for man's existence and activity. Yes. In each step of the narrative, it is ever man that is in view, and even the weight of the circumferent atmosphere is indispensable for the health and comfort of the human body. I know atheists are screeching right now. No, fine-tuning! He can't be fine-tuned! No! No! Yes, fine-tuning. Fine-tuning. You can't escape it. But why are there poisonous animals? How is that argument against fine-tuning? How? Just because there's poisonous animals? Yeah, they can survive. And guess what? Humans made stuff that counteracts their poison. Fine-tuning for life. Anyway. The waters which were under the fragment. While this is a popular description of what we daily see, namely, masses of running water conglomerated upon Earth's surface and above a cloudland. Cloudland. Oh, sounds funny. Into which the waters rise and float. It is not contrary to, but in accordance with, the state of repulsion, forms clouds which the winds carry in their bosom. Every time I hear the word bosom, I don't know where I got this, but it's supposed to be chest. I know it's supposed to be chest, but for some reason, I just hear the word butt. Okay, that embarrassing confession over. So full of thoughtful conveyance and arrangement are the laws by which rain is formed and earth is watered, that they are continuously referred to in the Bible as the chief natural proofs of God's wisdom and goodness. See Acts chapter 14, verse 17. Moreover, Moreover, where that man could not exist on the earth until to till the ground. The use, however, of popular language and ideas is confessedly a method of Holy Scripture, and we must not force upon the writer knowledge which man was to gain for himself, even if the writer supposed that the rains were poured down from an upper reservoir. It would be no more an argument against his being inspired than St. Mark's expression, the sun did set. Yeah. We still say it. Sunset, sunrise, blue moon. The moon's never blue. Well, actually, really rare occasions. Could be. But once in a blue moon, when the blue moon is on its second month, or second time showing up in the months being full, it's not blue. Should I take everything you're saying as a lie from then on out? No, that would be stupid. It really would. Mark chapter 1 verse 32. This proves the interpretation of the Gospels. For an amendment of all such knowledge, God has provided another way. Yes, just because the Bible has something like this does not mean it's any more fictional. No. And this is just one of the many tools and proofs Christians have. Where it's like, yes, the ancient people believe this, but this does not disprove it. Well, this is what other texts, ancient texts have radically inaccurate scientific information, and you disbelieve them. Yeah, for different reasons. You do know there's different reasons, right? Yes. Oh yes, pulpit. The pulpit commentary. How the present atmosphere would evolve from the chaotic mass of waters, the Masonic narrative does not reveal. Also, if you were like, this is a Christian interpretation, Jews, there's an evolution museum in Israel. The Jewish people think it's all just symbolism, too. Well, the ancient Jews, you have no idea what the ancient Jews thought. They wrote it down in the Bible. That's one way. But even then, so ancient people had a lot of inaccuracies about science. And a lot of historical documents did too. Anyway. Does not reveal the primary intention of that record being not to teach science, but to discover religious truths. The thing of paramount importance to be communicated was that the firmament was of God's construction. In other words, God made the sky. This, of course, does not prevent us from believing that the elimination of those gases, 20 parts of oxygen and 70 parts of nitrogen, which with a small portion of carbonic acid gas and aqueous vapor, a bunch of other random stuff, which comprises our atmosphere, was not affected by natural means, and how far it may have been attested by the actions of the light upon the concealing mass of the globe is a problem in the solution of which science may legitimately take interest. Okay, in the second part, the upper waters are not the material of the stars, and it lists two stars. Why those worlds worth and are the stars? Del Zichich? No, whatever. Although Jupiter is of the same density as water, and Saturn only half its density. This is true. Weird but true. But the water is floating about the higher spaces of the air. The under waters are not the lower atmospheric vapors, but the oceanic and terrestrial waters. How the waters are collected in the upper reaches of the atmosphere. Scripture, no less than science, explains to be the means, to be by the means of evaporation. Yeah. Rain, or just one big evaporation. Remember last video I told you about the whole idea of some time in the world, Earth's history, a bunch of water came down from the sky. And even that some water came from like meteors from space. Meaning that water came from above. Some people have noticed that the ideal creation of the world kind of lines up with Genesis 1. No, I'm not saying it does. Anyway, yeah, evaporation, he uses Genesis chapter 2, verse 6, Job 36, verse 27, and Job 37, verse 16 as examples. This latter passage suggests that the clouds are balanced, suspended, and upheld by the buoyancy of air in exact accordance with scientific principles. And it was so, meaning God did it. Yeah, anyway. God, Elohim, is still plural, masculine plural, but we always translate it as one God, and so do the Jews. The Christians and Jews do not really disagree with the English language translation of the Bible, of the Old Testament. Maybe on a few occasions, but then if, like, Psalm 23, it's like, no, it's like lying, it's a lying a lie and not being pierced, or whatever. And then we find, like, ancient Jewish source that has our interpretation, but oh well. Anyway, we'll get to Psalm 23 sometime. Anyway, yes, plural, Elohim. But it's just some people, for some reason, like, you Christians can't translate Hebrew. Anyone who learns Hebrew can translate Hebrew. Some may be better than others, but like despite what the Middle Ages might tell you, no, Christianity is really ancient, anti-Judaism, and no, for the most part, Christians and Jews agree on a whole lot. It's just Jews don't think Jesus is the Messiah. That's, I mean, there's a few other differences that stem from that. But if you're asking a Christian or a Jew on anything about the Old Testament, they probably agree 100%, even to the idea that the Old Testament predicts the Messiah. Anyway, made, to do, to make, expanse, and expanse, fragment, visible arch in the sky to separate way of a yeah, I'm not trying to pronounce it. Yes. Cognitive imperfect. Third person masculine singular. This might sound weird to English people. I never really explained this. But yes, there's gendered language. In like a lot of languages. Very few don't. English is better than it. Better because of this. I think Japanese doesn't have it either. I don't know. Well, the waters. So, people, when water is being translated, who literally think that Christians are really just massively incorrectly translating the words in the Bible? They say water is the correct translation. Juice, urine, or semen. But please tell me which one of those other ones do you prefer? So in other words, this word is this liquid. Pretty much. Well, not blood. Blood's a liquid. Most liquids. Yeah. Anyway, beneath, bottom, below, in lieu of it. The expanse, the firmament, visible arch of the sky, from an interval, space between, waters, above, over, upon, against. And it was to fall out, to come to pass, to become, so, thus. So yeah, when translating, the translators try to get the most idea out of it, what it originally tried to say. Some go for more of that, and some go for the more understanding what the person was saying, and some like some go for direct translation, like these are the exact words. This was the idea. But all tried to make at least a coherent sentence. Imagine, let's just pick the supreme God to do visible arch of the sky to be divided, juice the bottom, visible arch of the sky, space between, juice against, to come to pass, so. See, that doesn't make any sense, does it? No. And those are all acceptable translations of those Hebrew words. But so God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. Makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Anyway, go watch my other stuff, I guess.